SpaceX's Falcon rockets launch every few days, and it's no surprise that this high pace leads to record-breaking events from time to time. One of these records was set on March 17th for the interval between two Falcon launches. The first of the pair of launches occurred on March 17th at 1926 Universal Time. Falcon 9 launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, carrying 52 Starlink communications satellites to an orbit at an altitude of 222 to 335 kilometers inclined at 70 degrees to the equator. The satellites will now move thanks to their own thrusters to an altitude of 570 kilometers, from where they will provide internet connectivity.
And there's that confirmation that the Stage 1 landing burn has begun in preparation for touchdown.
This time, the Falcon 9 first stage was flying its 8th mission, and 660 kilometers from the launch site, the "Of Course I Still Love You" autonomous drone ship awaited it. Although the stage missed the center, the platform is large enough to provide a sufficient margin.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Falcon 9 is...
At the same time, but several thousand kilometers to the east, final preparations were already underway for the launch of another Falcon. Its launch from the Launch Complex number 40 in Florida occurred at 23:38 Universal Time on March 17th.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
A quick calculation shows that the two launches were only 4 hours and 12 minutes apart. The previous record, from last October, was 7 hours and 10 minutes, so it was shortened by almost exactly 3 hours. This record shift clearly shows that SpaceX has fine-tuned its pre-launch processes and can handle two launches from both coasts of the U.S. in a very short time. On the second mentioned mission, the Falcon 9 first stage was used for the 6th time, and the landing site was the "Just Read the Instructions" drone ship. As you can see, the more than 40-meter tall stage touched down almost exactly on the center this time. The payload comprised two communication satellites, SES-18 and 19, with a combined weight of 7¼ metric tons. The upper stage delivered them to an elliptical orbit, with the highest point at an altitude of just under 20,000 kilometers. The satellites will subsequently move into geostationary orbit using their own propulsion. SES-18 will settle over 103 degrees west longitude, while SES-19 will be positioned over 135 degrees west longitude. The launch of these satellites is part of a major project to reorganize the use of communication frequencies in the United States. Currently, usage of these frequencies is not optimized, and in order to expand 5G communication services, the bands used by geostationary satellites need to be cleared. However, such a drastic change in communication frequencies cannot be achieved through software alone, and new satellites must be launched. If companies manage to clear the required bands by the end of this year, they will be financially compensated. In the case of SES, this amounts to just under $4 billion. In a clean room at the Johnson Space Center, assembly process of the lunar rover Viper has started. It is scheduled to be deployed to the south pole of the moon next year. There, it will map the distribution of subsurface water and other resources that future astronauts could use, potentially avoiding the need to transport everything from Earth. The Dragon 2 spacecraft successfully docked with the International Space Station in automatic mode on March 16th. The crew is currently unloading the cargo brought to the ISS and loading items scheduled for return journey to Earth. Thank you for following Spaceflight News. To ensure you don't miss any future episodes, please subscribe.